So what will the rest of the group be able to do? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 5 of Tougen Anki. And yeah, we got our Blood Eclipse release last time. Shiki finally was able to utilize his, figuring out the secret to doing so. He's a very quick study, as we see. But we also had to deal with this girl's, I don't remember her name, Blood Eclipse release during their test and everything. And hers is to summon the embodiment of her dead sister, it seems, which is pretty freaky and traumatic as fuck. So, gonna be interesting to see, or to learn more about that eventually. We also have this other guy who's part of the class who, he seems to focus on blades, bladed weapons, like saw blades and stuff specifically. And Shiki, we know, deals with guns. So, it's gonna be interesting to see what the other classmates are able to, do with their Blood Eclipse releases as well. We're starting to like really get into the meat of these powers and this training, so I'm excited to see where this ends up going. I talked about it last time, I believe, but I want to talk about it again here. There are still people who are like talking about this this series not being good, and I'll say it all the time, but everybody's entitled to having their own opinion. Everybody's entitled to whatever beliefs they might have regarding a series, a movie, a game, etc., even if they differ from my own. But like I've also said, just because I support your ability to have a different opinion than mine doesn't mean I have to agree to or understand it. I am allowed to disagree with you. I am allowed to, like, not, like, understand your feelings towards it. And you're allowed to do the same for me. It's all very subjective. And so it comes down to just don't be an asshole. As long as you aren't an asshole, you can debate, you can argue, you can like make your point, your stand. And for me here, it's just like I've been really enjoying this. I've been loving this series. It's not necessarily my favorite, but I've really liked it. And I don't understand why some people are not. Like, I don't get it. I just, it doesn't make sense to me. So, if someone could maybe, like, explain, if possible, even if you like it, like, explain why other people may not, without spoilers, of course. If it's involving spoilers, then that's something I don't want to know. But if it's just in general, like, please feel free to let me know. But yeah, I did really enjoy this one. And I'm hoping that continues to be the case moving forward. So we're just going to get into this and see what happens next. So let's get this started. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So this episode kind of had two parts to it, I would say. It has the aspect of like the remainder of what we see of the test with Naito getting directly involved and Jin, being angsty. And then you have like kind of the aftermath of everything with them hearing about this, about needing help in the Kyoto branch and going off to do so, which leads into the post credits. So obviously the first part is longer and has more to it, but I would say that they're still both important. So let's talk about obviously the first. Through this first part of the episode, we get to see not only Naito in action using an umbrella that's not made of his blood, but we get to see how Jin is wholly dedicated to this because of his father being a Momotaro, like Shiki. And as we see in those little flashes of memory and flashback and all, apparently his father killed his mom and sister, from what we can tell. So, yeah, he's just out for revenge. It's obviously very much like Sasuke from Naruto, or many other examples, but I've said this before and I'll say it again, nothing is original anymore. Like, let's be honest here. If you're, like, gonna be upset about, like, this anime, or, well, the manga as well, borrowing things from others, then you can't watch anything. Because that's just the case with literally everything. Jujutsu Kaisen heavily borrows from Bleach. You don't see people bitching about that not being original. And mind you, I don't know if that's actually the reason people are not liking this series, but that's the only thing I could think of, because the plot is good, the characters are good, the action is great, I love the animation, the soundtrack, everything else is good. But it's like, yeah, you could make comparisons with that, you could make comparisons with the blood powers being, like, connected to, Dead Man Wonderland and stuff like that. But it's like, that's not a problem, because again, you're not going to find an original anime out there anymore. It's just not possible. But anyway, going back to the point. So we get to see Naito fighting Jin a lot, and we get to see Jin reluctantly working with Shiki to take on Naito. And while Shiki tells Jin to take the ball and go initially, he can't do it. He can't actually do it. He's not as, angsty and tough as he thinks he is. He comes back and gives the ball to Shiki, telling him to go and take it, because it's like, he's like, I'll accomplish my goal anyway. I don't want to owe you anything. Go. You take the win here. And obviously, the girl is just completely out. I can't remember her name right now. It's Bubu Bugara or something like that in terms of her, like, family name, but like, she's just out of action. That's just, an unfortunate side effect of her clearly intense power. So we see a lot of great action in this. I love, like, the different like, types of things that Naito's umbrella can do. It's very, very much like the Penguin from DC Comics, from Batman stories and all. With the smoke bombs and, like, being able to shoot out rubber bullets and shit. It's like, oh yeah, the Penguin wouldn't use rubber bullets, but still. It's like, the idea is absolutely there. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed all the action and fighting in this. And I do like Jin's connection with Shiki. I like that they both do have, like, the fathers who are Momotaro, and that they both, want to kill the person who ruined their life. And so it's like it creates this sort of like mutual like investment in this between them. They have like a bond even if they won't admit it, because Shiki's kind of a dumbass and Jin's too much of an angsty brat. But it is pretty interesting to see nonetheless. We don't get to see any of the others use their abilities yet, but outside of Bubagara, they are all now headed towards Kyoto. So we find out from this Tapir, this emergency information deliverer, that the Kyoto branch is in danger. And so they decide to, well, Naito mainly decides to cancel the training altogether, and instead they're going to go help out the support unit in Kyoto, which is involved with, just generally aiding and supporting non-combatant Oni living in around, also giving them medical care since they can't get it elsewhere. But also in combat, they add support by helping people on the battlefield and whatnot without actually, being in combat themselves. And while it doesn't seem like pretty much any of these students are happy about, having to just be support here, they just kind of have to live with it either way. They don't really have much of a choice. But I do think it'll help them, and I do think it'll give them a really good perspective of the battle against the Momotaro. That'll help them really realize everything going on here. Like, a lot better than they think they do now. We get to see some confrontations between them, a little bit of interaction while on the ship at the end. And the most interesting to me was Kuina's. We see her like interacting with Naito, but then she goes cute, and it's like she's acting all like tough and like serious at first, but then she's like, "Oh wait, do you are you like needing me for this and everything?" And she gets like all like flustered and cutesy like Chopper from One Piece when someone compliments him. What was the exact thing she said here? Let me go back to that real quick. Um, I'll mute it so we don't have any issues. But I I have to find it here. Yeah, it ended with that, with learning about the guy who's there, the insane Momotaro. Yeah, here we go. She got all like blushy and flustered. It's like, you're worried about me? Not like I'm happy or anything, wiggling her hips. Also, then the nerdy dude, the green haired nerdy dude, said, I smell something sacred in the air. What the fuck is he talking about? But yeah, she like flipped on a dime pretty much. Because she was asking like why they're dressed like that and everything. And it's like, oh, because you don't want to stick out and all. She's like, mind your own business. Oh, but you're worried about me? It's like, okay. So we've seen this kind of personality type in obviously other anime and stuff. It's not anywhere near new, and it's been done in different ways. Like I mentioned, Chopper would be an example of this. Whenever he's complimented or anything, especially for his medical skills, he does this. He blushes, he gets flustered, he starts wiggling and dancing around. But this is obviously also used in ways like this to make like a badass female character like cutesy or like whatnot, stuff like that, and just various others as well. But I like this personally. I think it like gives her some fun personality. Um, and I'm very interested to see what more they do with her. I don't know if she's going to have a major role to play in the next episodes. But I'm very, very interested to see more. I also want to see her fighting style. I want to see all of these other characters' fighting styles, and just see where this kind of continues to progress from here on out. We've been getting a lot of like interesting setups, but obviously not too much in terms of payoff yet. And I feel like there's a lot of potential within these characters. So we will continue to enjoy this as it goes along, and hopefully it continues to be as good as it has been. Because I don't care what anybody says, this series has been great so far. But yeah. Not really much else to say. I've really like kind of touched on everything. We do get a good view of like Naito being like very, kind-hearted and everything too, which we were told. I think the principal mentioned that as well. And we see that he actually very much respected the lack of self-serving interests from both Shiki and Jin during the test part. Like he actually seemed like genuinely impressed by their willingness to care about others, even if Jin's was brought about by like his idea of not wanting to owe Shiki something. Still, um, that's interesting to get like this more depth with him as well, especially if he's going to be a notable major character. So, all of that being said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And as always, no spoilers. For now, I'm Connie, and yeah, I'm signing off. See y'all next time.